As our nation celebrates 250 years of independence, we also remember that it wasn't an easy path to get to where we are today.
WMUR's Caitlin Corbett introduces us to General John Stark, a man not only pivotal in American independence, but in New Hampshire history, too.
Live free or die!
Live free or die.
Live free or die.
Live free or die.
On license plates, in the streets, on the walls. If you're from New Hampshire, you know those words. And even if you're not, you probably do too. But do you know where they come from?
John Stark had been a war hero. He was deeply loved by the men who served under him. And every year he was invited to these reunions of war soldiers. And in 1809, he was too sick to go to the reunion in Bennington. So he sat down at his desk in Manchester. He wrote out a letter and he closed it with a toast.
Live free or die. Death is not the greatest of evils. The toast written by Londonderry's General John Stark that would become the New Hampshire state motto some 136 years later.
You know, I've lived in different states and in different towns, and it always comes back to being free here to do what you love, but also having community around you.
But General Stark didn't just have a way with words. He was a Revolutionary War hero, New Hampshire's very own. He served through the French and Indian War and the American Revolution, but perhaps his greatest feat, defending New Hampshire and Vermont from British forces in the Battle of Bennington, and turning the tide of the war and the history of the U.S.
He should be credited really for all of this thinking and his plan of attack, his actions. He thought in ways that other officers in the Continental Army did not think.
General Stark's journey and words transcend generations and are known across the country, embodying the spirit of America.
I think he's relevant because he was a citizen soldier. He truly was a farmer. He ran his own sawmills. He wasn't in the role of a soldier because he wanted this lifelong ambition to be great. He did what he believed to be right and fair and just.
But they mean perhaps the most to those from the live free or die state.
I think it resonates with everyone wanting to live their own way, their own lifestyle, but I do feel that New Hampshire is very united in the same respect.
Now, while General John Stark was born in Londonderry, he actually moved to Derryfield when he was 8. Derryfield would come to be known as Manchester today.